I would like to call the Novi Board of Education regular meeting to order. It is July 14th. I'd like to make a quick announcement. I may need to take a short recess sometime during the meeting. I have a super important phone call from my son who I haven't talked to in 13 days. He's on a trip, and so I know that's probably inappropriate, but it's important to me. So I just wanted to make that announcement so no one thinks anything's weird if we take just a 5-minute break. So if we can please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If I can get a motion for the approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Support.
Recommended by Mrs. Murphy and supported by Mrs. Roney. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries 7-0. First, we have our consent agenda. And on the consent agenda this evening,
Comments from the audience.
trouble here. Okay,
Comments from the audience.
I know, hold on, my computer just totally shut down. Okay. We have comments from the audience, sorry.
That is not on our consent agenda, but
No.
we do have that.
Yes. Individuals who wish to address the board must identify themselves, their address, and any organization they may represent. The board and individual board members will not directly respond to comments or questions that arise during the public participation portion of the meeting. Individuals who wish to address the board shall direct their comments to the entire board and not to individual board members, the superintendent, or other district employees or members of the audience. Behavior that is intemperate, abusive, defamatory, discourteous, or that otherwise interferes with the orderly conduct and timely completion of the board meeting is strictly prohibited. So I'd like to open up comments from the audience. If you have not filled out a green card and would like to make a comment, please do so, and we'll get it up to the board table, and Mr. Cook will call you up to the podium. We have a 3-minute timer, and Mrs. Murphy will turn that on when you go up there. So, Mr. Cook?
Matthew Hines.
You got first time.
Welcome.
Clearly never been here before.
All right. Hello, my name is Matthew Hines, Dr. Matthew Hines, I should say, no relation to Dr. Matthews. I live in Novi. I have 2 daughters, an incoming 2nd grader and a 5th grader, both of which who have attended Village Oaks this past year. I'm here to highlight the importance of play behavior and the unfortunate, embarrassing side of Village Oaks, as it's been without a playground for close to 2 years now. I understand that delays have been impacted by different factors, but the fact that this still remains is it's quite just a negative feeling, and hope you all would agree with me on this. Yet I assume that the construction in the parking lot and the sidewalk, which was perfectly good state, that's been recently removed and currently under construction, will be completed before school starts. Along with having a PhD in dad humor, call back to Dr. Matthews, I do in fact actually have a PhD from the University of Chicago studying the benefits of play behavior in wild chimpanzees. In my research, I was able to show that there's a relationship between how much a chimpanzee played and when they achieve different physical and social milestones. Play has so many benefits, and at its core, it provides a safe environment to get experience with different physical and social skills that help build resilience. Play provides an opportunity to practice for the unexpected, and this happens so much around the playground setting. Imagine kids hanging upside down on monkey bars and beginning to swing their head around just for fun. In that sort of situation, they might become a little bit dizzy and begin to slip. Now, it's incredibly important in that sort of situation for them to use their motor skills to react appropriately, but also, even more important than that, to not freak out, to be able to just respond calmly to that situation. Now, play helps kids in that situation exactly with being physically and emotionally flexible in so many other situations beyond the playground, beyond school, throughout life itself. You will not take away textbooks without having new textbooks in hand. And I hope you would agree with me that not having a playground for this length of time is both unacceptable and disheartening when you realize the potential negative impacts that this is having on our children here at Village Oaks. I implore you to think creatively and use funds and resources that do not come out of Village Oaks' pockets, but to do so in whatever manner possible, to have some sort of playground equipment at the beginning of the year so that our students aren't limited to playing with a broken tetherball. And my daughter will speak more of that in a second. But thank you, appreciate your time.
Thank you very much. Mr. Cook?
Priyanka?
Hello, my name is Priyanka Hines.
You know what, can we get her a step stool or something to stand on so that we can actually see her? Do we have something like that?
Meg, you could pick her up if you want.
There used to be a microphone.
Yeah, right there, that's good.
Right there, that's perfect.
There you go.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Priyanka Hines. I went to Village Oaks since kindergarten, and I'm moving on to Meadows this fall. I'm here because Village Oaks needs a playground. I have not played on a playground since I was in 2nd grade, and I'm going into 5th. Last year, all we did was walk around on the field and play tetherball, which, by the way, broke out a week or 2 before school ended, and we just got it in the spring. Kids have energy. They need to play and climb, and all the climbing I did last year was climb on a fence. When you don't have a playground, kids are bored. I myself hate being bored. I have a little sister who is going into 2nd grade, so I'm speaking for kids like her who have not had a playground at all at Village Oaks. Every school needs a playground. Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
I never started the book.
Mr. Cook?
Jason Mitchner?
Good evening, Board. Jason Mitchner, Novi resident. All right, so I was very encouraged to see that you guys were able in 15 days get a contract together and negotiate it ready for approval tonight for our new superintendent. So thank you very much for the hard work getting that done. I'm also very encouraged to see that a majority of our principals, assistant principals, and directors have their contract up for extension tonight. I was very encouraged by that as well. Now that some of these big events are behind us, I encourage the board to really look into matters such as what was just mentioned, but also transportation. I'm really hoping that you'll work hard this summer to resolve the busing issues that we had all last year with the sporadic bus blackouts and not having enough bus drivers and or buses available to maintain consistent bus routes for all the schools, for all the grades. I also hope that you would continue the work on the capital projects that was brought up a couple of months ago where we were trying to figure out what to do with the funding and how to move funds around since our capital projects was running over budget by a significant amount. And I'm hoping that none of that will impact anything that needed to be set up and established for the start in September. So I hope the board will be looking into those as well. And then lastly, the student survey that was reviewed in the curriculum committee in June on the 16th. I am hopeful that that will be sent maybe to the DEI committee or at least processed and reviewed in some shape or fashion this summer, as there was a lot of valuable information that I think would not only be beneficial for the new administrators coming in, like Mr. Armenka, but also for the teachers and any teacher training that you may have coming up. There was a lot of valuable input by the students, and I think we could improve our school district if that input is processed and put in to lessons learned for this upcoming school year, not just bookshelf summer. It was really good information, and I hope it doesn't just remain really good information in a binder somewhere, but we actually use it to improve our schools for all our kids. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jason. Mr. Cook?
Betsy Beaudoin?
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. First, I want to take this opportunity to welcome Mr. Rinka and Mr. Giormini. Am I getting it?
You got it.
Okay. Thank you. A lot of vowels in your name as well. I'm excited to see you both here, and I have not had the pleasure yet to introduce myself to you, sir, but I will be hoping to do that after the meeting. I wanted to thank the board for taking the time to read the many emails they've gotten about the VO playground. And I also would like to thank Priyanka for sharing her thoughts on it. That was very, very helpful for you. I did want to highlight, and I can't remember if I mentioned this last time, but I did want to highlight to you all that the Village Oaks PTO has taken on a bit of expense to try to bridge this gap that the absence of the play structure has caused. I know that a lot of the things they purchased are now broken and, because the children have the energy. And so if you guys could look into trying to find some funding for some other options of things that they could do to play and entertain themselves, that would be really, really helpful. Since my kids have attended VO for, I think now 8-9 years, I know a lot of the teachers there pretty well, and I've heard from quite a few of them that this past year with no playground was really, really hard. I know COVID was hard, coming back was hard, and not having a playground was really, really hard. And I know that we really want to focus on teacher retention, and I'm hoping, I know you didn't start it, Bobby, I'm so sorry, I'm trying to wrap up quickly. I noticed like halfway through. But I know that teacher retention is really important right now, and we should try to focus on ways we can help our teachers feel supported and heard. So thank you guys for your time, and hopefully we can all come up with some solutions to get this problem resolved as quickly as possible. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
I think you are so good up there, because you've been up there so many times, you've got 3 minutes down.
I know about when I'm supposed to be quiet, so.
That's it.
I saw that, I was like, okay, just talk.
Thank you very much. Seeing no other green cards, we will move on to our consent agenda this evening. So on our consent agenda, we have,
Skip the interim superintendent's report.
oh, I'm just skipping down. What is my trouble?
You're excited about talking to your son.
I'm Mr. Jeremini.
Thank you, Dr.
Thank
Russell.
you.
Well, as you know, I began my role here as Assistant Superintendent of Academics and as Interim Superintendent all at once on July 1st. I have enjoyed a very warm welcome from many staff members, many community members, and it's very much appreciated. I have to say I'm especially thankful to the team at the Educational Services Building for their support during this transition. It's been very, very, very helpful. Last week, I met with some team members from the Office of Academics. We discussed our plans for welcoming teachers in the fall, looking at professional development plans. They brought me up to speed on past structures and things like that, and we'll continue those conversations throughout the summer. This week, I was able to meet with Maz, our District Director of Technology. He brought me up to speed on all of the summer projects that are going on. Summertime is a very, very, very busy time for the technology department. Also had the opportunity to attend a meeting on the bond projects, get some updates, get the lay of the land sort of regarding where we're at with our different projects, what's upcoming, what's in progress. And I even had the chance to visit the Meadows project. That's amazing. I can't wait to see that progress continue. And then also visited actually Novi High School and checked out the new secure entrances in that project. That was very nice. Mr. Bricky, our interim superintendent of human resources and the Novi Meadows principal. He took me on a guided tour of most of our school buildings. We still haven't finished a tour of the high school and the Rohr Center, but that's on the docket for next week. And maybe just a few more rounds and I'll finally know my way around places, but that was a lot. I was very grateful for an expert tour. And then finally, I would say that in the community, had a nice visit with Julie Farkas, the director of the Novi Public Library. Learned about some of the amazing resources there, some of the awesome partnerships we have. And I'm looking forward to hopefully sharing those, highlighting those with the board in a few months. So it's been a busy couple weeks, but I'm very glad to be here and I'm looking forward to more fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for jumping in with both feet, and here you are, right?
My pleasure.
So we appreciate you and welcome.
Thank you.
We'll move on to our administrative reports. First up is Mr. McIntyre.
Good evening, everyone. Just a real quick note, the governor did sign the school aid budget, and so I'm very interested to find out how they're going to reward funding for special education. So I was pretty much spot on as to what I thought we would receive as far as funding for 22-23, but some new things that may be coming our way. $700,000 for mental health, and another $700,000 for school safety that I did not budget for. So if we were to receive those monies in and we're able to use them that are conducive to us, that's going to strengthen the budget for 22-23. The House and Senate, they are holding session on Wednesday, July 20th, if anyone wants to log in and learn more about the intricacies of the budget. So next Wednesday, July 20th, and I think it's at noon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next, we will, I know you have a personnel report, but Mr. Bricky, thank you for stepping in and we are in interim this summer. We appreciate having you, and if you have a report, that would be great, and if not, fine too.
I have thank you very much. I have one update I wanted to let the board know about. We've slightly adjusted the search timeline for the full-time superintendent of HR that will allow Mr. Manka to be full part in the search for that person. So we've pushed it back a little bit to make sure that we have enough time for Mr. Manka to be fully involved in the process. We are still hopeful to have a recommendation to you by the August 18 meeting. So I just wanted to give that update. And welcome Mr. Giamini and welcome Mr. Manka. We are very happy that they're here.
Thank you very
Thank you.
much. All righty, next we have board communication. Any board members have anything that they would like to share? Mrs. Roney, and then Mrs. Hood?
Just that Feed the Need needs everyone's help. There's a lot of open spots. It takes an hour of your time. You can either go, I think the school website has it, and Rotary, Novi Rotary has it. All you do is pick up lunches at Village Oaks, and you can pick the spot you want to go distribute them. It's really easy, very rewarding, and it only takes an hour of your time. Well, okay, I lied. Maybe an hour and a half. And some of the spots you get a really good suntan, so bring an umbrella. But it's very rewarding if you've got an hour, Monday through Friday, 11:30 to 1, we could really use your help. Thank you.
Thank you for bringing that up, and it's a great opportunity for students in our district to receive community service.
Yes, it
hours,
is.
so thank you. Mrs. Hood?
Yeah, thank you. So it is audit season, and I had a conversation with Chris Geck, who is the principal auditor from the district's audit firm, Plant Moran. I talked to him yesterday related to the 2022 audit. Mr. McIntyre and his team have been working with them preliminarily to prepare. This year, federal guidance is that they will be looking specifically at ESSER funds and programs. And we've had a lot of conversation about ESSER funds because they've been robust going into every district around the country. So really, I think auditors have been directed to look at, I think they use the word test those funds specifically. So let's see, they will also, they'll look at our internal controls like they always do. We always have positive audits. The board should expect the usual pre-audit letter from Chris at Plant Moran any day now. I think he was waiting for Mr. Manka to have his email activated to send it all at once, and I think that happened today. So you should get it in the next day or two. And that is it. Thank you.
Thank you for that update, Mrs. Hood. Any other board communications? Mr. Smith?
Sure, I'll speak to those in the audience. Not a direct comment, but I can remember when Deerfield went through its expansion a number of years ago and added that whole new wing. And part of the downside of adding that wing was at that time, our playground at Deerfield had to be taken down, moved, and there was a period of time where all the kids at Deerfield didn't have a playground either. And I know that even a week without a playground, is not much fun for a first or second or third grader or even the kindergarten kids. And I just want to remind, those that are watching or that are here tonight that, our district really does take play seriously. And the organizations that support our district, for example, the Nova Educational Foundation, invested quite a bit of money in PlayWorks 360 to not only help our kids play, but to teach our kids how to lead play in other schools where playgrounds really didn't exist. So we'd go to other school districts and actually teach kids how to play Foursquare and play, because I do recognize the importance of play, both in the social and mental health for our kids. To that end, I have been told that by the end of September, if not by mid-September, the playground should be complete. And if it is at any type of a carrot, I think when you end up with $1 million playground, you'll have the best playground in the entire school district. So I know it won't do the kids that have graduated any good, but I know that we're close. In the meantime, I am confident that between my peers at the Novi Educational Foundation and the group Friends of Novi Schools, that we're able to contribute money to help buy new things and new toys and at least a few things to get you through the next 4 to 6 weeks while we get the playground up and running. And it's great to hear, Greg, that there's $1.4 million coming to the budget for mental health and safety, which are very near and dear to me. So I think that we've got money in the community. That's one of our blessings here. So I'll figure out whether I need to talk to Alex or Dr. O'Feely or PTO organization, and how can we get some things there literally within the next couple of weeks, and we'll go from there. So I just wanted to share that.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. And to piggyback off of that, I just wanted to address that as well. There was an email sent today, and I really do appreciate it being brought to the board's attention. I know that the team, McCarthy Smith, I know that Plant Moran Cressa, that the capital projects is very aware. We're asking for bi-weekly reports. Mr. Meinke will be in the district tomorrow, so it is on our radar, and with the help of capital projects and all the team members collaborating, there will be some solutions brought forward. So whatever those might look like, it may not be the official, ribbon cutting of the playground as it will be, but it is being addressed as quickly as possible considering this transition and everything else. So just to share that with the community. Any other board communication? No? Seeing none? Okay. We will move on to the consent agenda, even though I tried to do it 3 times already. I'm not sure what my problem was. I apologize. So approval of minutes. We have regular meeting minutes of June 16th, final candidate selection, regular meeting minutes of June 16th, regular meeting minutes of June 30th, 2022, superintendent selection. Approval of field trips, which is the first robotics competition tournament, and approval of bills. The board report, the check register for May 2022, and purchase card report for April 1st, 2022 through April 30th, 2022. If I may get a motion for the recommendation. Mr. Smith?
Sure, I'll move that the Novi Community School District approve the consent items as presented.
Support.
Recommended by Mr. Smith and supported by Mr. Mena. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Yeah?
Okay, aye, but I want to make one comment, though. The field trip is tomorrow,
I know.
and they're supposed to get these in 6 weeks in advance. So they need to work on getting that in a more timely manner. It's, I don't want things to slip, and I don't want things to come forward that are not gonna get approved in if we get it in a timely manner, we can approve it in a timely manner, that's all.
Thank you.
But I support.
Motion carries 7-0, and thanks for your comment, Mr. Cook. We will move on to our action items. We have 5 action items this evening. We will begin with the personnel report. And Mr. Giarmini, do you want me to directly go to Mr. Berkey?
Please, yeah.
Mr. Berkey.
Thank you. This evening, I bring 12 people to the board for consideration for hire. Stephen Beltran, social studies teacher at Novi Middle School. Madison Berman, 3rd grade teacher at Deerfield. Casey Byron, consumer science teacher at Novi High School. Rebecca Ferguson, vocal music teacher, Novi Meadows. Olivia Hewitt, special education teacher, and her location is to be determined at this point. It is to fill a need of caseload. Samantha Jodwin, social worker, Village Oaks. Olivia Mobley, social studies teacher, Novi Middle School. Shayna Simmons, social worker, Novi Meadows. Leanne Winkler, food science teacher, Novi Middle School. Sue Ellen Into, preschool teacher. Zachary Martinez, receptionist / HR assistant at the ESB. And Lisa Sumner, special education parapro at the NATC. I also bring 8 retirements and resignations to you. Jeff Burnside, physics teacher, Novi High School. Natalie Crandall, ELA teacher, Novi Middle School. Lisa Erickson, 6th grade teacher, Novi Meadows. Rod Franchi, social studies teacher, Novi High School. Julia Grazer, 5th grade teacher, Novi Meadows. Victor Holman, English teacher at Career Prep. Adrian McDonald, math teacher, Career Prep. And Elizabeth Howell, assistant auditorium manager for the ESB and for the high school.
Thank you, Mr. Berkey. If I may get a motion for the recommendation. Mr. Cook?
Yeah, I recommend that the Novi Community School District Board of Education adopts the personnel report recommendations as presented.
Support.
Recommended by Mr. Cook and supported by Mrs. Roney. You have any comments or questions? Mr. Mena?
Sure. Well, Mr. Bricky, thank you for your hard work on these hires. It is nice to see that even with the amount of positions that you and your team need to fill, that we actually still had 101 applicants for middle school position and 411 for elementary. And so that's nice, and it gives me the feeling that we're still a destination district that we always have been.
Thank you, Mr. Mena. I thought Mr. Smith had his hand up, but no.
Sure, I'll go real quick. I just wanted to recognize in particular, all the teachers are great. Lisa Erickson had multiple children of mine and was always just a fantastic educator. You know, it's I don't know if it's a combination of I'm getting older or the kids are getting older, but to see these people that have had such a big impact, you know, John, she's just a great, you know, good memories. And I had dinner with 2 of my 3 kids this weekend, Wednesday, and we were talking about Lisa and some of the, you know, stuff that she's been through, and they're just great people. And Liz threatened to cut all of our mics off if we didn't approve her leave. So, you know, thanks, Liz, for all you do for us down there. So that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Mrs. Hood?
I was also going to say that Mrs. Erickson one of my sons had Mrs. Erickson in 6th grade, and she is wonderful. She will be missed. Rod Franchi is a exemplary teacher, so that's a huge loss for the district. And my kids neither of them had Mr. Burnside, but I wish him well in his new position. And I wanted to say, first I wanted to thank Mr. Bricky for this hard work, and say that, you know, everybody is hiring. And I am thankful and grateful for these folks who decided to make Novi Community School District their new home. So thank you for your work, and welcome to the new folks coming in.
Thank you, Mrs. Hood. Any other questions or comments?
I
Mrs. Roney?
just have a question. Samantha Jodwin, did she attend our Novi schools?
I do not know the answer to that.
Okay, I thought so. Thank you. That's awesome. We've got one of our own coming back.
Might be more than one on there.
Well, okay, that's the only one I know, sorry.
There's a few on there, yeah. It is exciting that they want to come back and give back to the district. And I love, I know we had, I didn't call.
It's okay, you're good.
It's been a week. Yeah, so I do love that we have teachers that are coming back that want to do that, and I think that there was discussion when we were talking about the teacher shortage in the candidate thing, just about growing your own, right, and growing your own, encouraging students to go into teaching and stuff, and obviously, because we have students coming back, we are doing a little bit of that, so I think that's fantastic. I too, so my oldest son, who is old now, had Coach Burnside, had him for actually earth science, I think, back in the day. That's how long ago. I will just say that he was a fantastic teacher through a time that was really hard for my son, and he had everything was online. It was years ago, so he was using a lot of technology and tools that made it really easy for my son to kind of get back into things. So I did really appreciate that about him. And I knew Lisa also from from Meadows and Rodney, and they will be missed. And so will you, Elizabeth. You were here for not a real long period of time, but boy, you've made a real impact and been a true help to this district in terms of some of the things that we've had to manage these last year or so. So you will be missed.
Thank you. Any other board communication on this? I want to welcome everybody who will be coming to the district, and those who are retiring, congratulations. I'm sure you've served for many years, and that's fantastic. And then I'll give a little shout out to Liz. She is getting a promotion, and we're very proud of you. And I'm glad you can spend your last day in Novi here with us. So
She's downstairs, for those of you that don't know.
Yeah.
So she's watching right now.
Alrighty, if we are all ready to vote, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries 7-0. We'll move on to the next item on the agenda, which is the Superintendent Contract. Mr. Jeremini. Oh, I'm gonna read this? Okay, here we go. Yeah, you're right. It's all very. You do things the same for 4 years, it takes a minute to. The Board of Education has concluded the superintendent search process. A board-appointed committee met to enter into contract negotiations with Mr. Ben Meinke. Tonight, the board presents the attached resolution entering into a contract with Mr. Meinke to engage his services as superintendent from July 15th, 2022 through June 30th, 2025. If we can get a recommendation, a motion for recommendation?
I move that the Novi Community School District Board of Education approve the attached resolution engaging the services of Mr. Ben Meinke as the superintendent of Novi Schools for the period from July 15th, 2022 through June 30th, 2025.
Recommended by Mrs. Murphy and supported by Mrs. Hood. We have any conversation besides welcome and congratulations and all that good stuff?
I think the family should all come up and
They
introduce
will.
themselves.
We are going to do that.
After we vote.
Okay, so since we don't have any specific comments, we will approve this and then have the Meinke family come up to the podium. So all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. Please come up and welcome.
Thank you so much for your generosity. And also, it's a lot more comfortable standing here than in front of you over there. And so it is just a privilege and an honor to serve in this capacity, and I can't wait to get started. I have to say that I've had the privilege, really, of getting to know community members. Obviously, I've talked with all of you. The staff in this building and the staff and the community members that I've talked to have all been so kind and welcoming, and I'm just really excited about an opportunity for a great start here, and I think that we're really poised to do that and move to the next level. So I am super excited that my family's here tonight. They were on vacation and they decided to come back for this meeting and support me.
Aw.
They look smarter than that.
Introduce yourselves. So, probably not, they don't. So, my wife Jen is here, and she's the most important support person in my life, and it's so great that she's supported me these past 6 years as superintendent, and for the next, hopefully, decade plus here, she'll support me as well, and really hopefully get to know and build relationships with the community. This is number 3, we call affectionately, this is Ariana. Number 4 over here is Alex. We're kind of going in different order. This is Alyssa, who's going to be a 7th grader, and Abigail's going to be a junior. So we're really excited to just get to know everybody and really become a part of the fabric of the community here. And we're greatly appreciative of your generosity and the opportunity to serve here.
Thank you very much, and welcome to you and your family to Novi Community School District. You've been a pleasure to work with even thus far. For the subcommittee as we worked through your contract, and I just see great things happening moving forward, so.
Thank you so much. Can't wait to get started. So
Well, tomorrow.
I'll start making calls tomorrow. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to say, it's a great day to be a Novi Wildcat.
Where did she go?
Dr. Kerr.
Nicole's like, hey, that's my line.
It's another great.
It's another great day. Sorry.
Come on, get it right, Bobby.
Alrighty. We will move on to our next action item, which is the 2022 to 2024 administrative contract renewal. Now it's your turn, Mr. Jeremy.
My turn. Thank you, Dr. Ruskin. The administrative contracts of the following administrators expire on June 30th, 2023. Based on their evaluations and their job performance, it is recommended that the superintendent be authorized to extend the following administrative contracts through June 30th, 2024. Any potential increases in compensation will be determined at a later date and brought to the board for approval. Assistant Superintendent of Business and Operations Gregory McIntyre, High School Principal Nicole Carter, High School Assistant Principals Andy Combe, Ron Kane, and Angie Southworth, Director of Athletics Don Wachowski, Middle School Principal Robert Baker, Middle School Assistant Principal Katie Dinkelman, Meadows Principals John Bricky and Lisa Fenchel, Elementary Principals David Asher, Melissa Lane, Dr. Alex O'Feely, Dr. Laura Carino, and Adva Ringel, Novi Virtual School Principal Emily Polonsky, Director of Finance Deanna Wheeler, Director of Maintenance Mike Dragoo, Assistant Director of Maintenance and Operations Eric Heddle, Director of Student Services Shaylee Patel, Special Education Supervisor Amanda Squires, Director of Student Growth and Accountability Jeff Dinkelman, Director of Student Support Services Darby Hoppenstedt, Director of Transportation Cynthia Valentine, Director of Early Childhood Education and Community Programs Ann Hansen, Assistant Director of Early Childhood Stacy Job, Director of Adult and Alternative Education Linda Chinfera, Marketing and Public Relations Specialist George Sipple. And as a reminder, my contract was approved on June 9th, and it is a 2-year contract as well. The recommendation is that the Novi Community School District Board of Education authorize the contract extensions as noted above.
Thank you very much. If we can get a motion, Mrs. Hood?
Yeah, I move that the Novi Community School District Board of Education authorize the contract extensions as noted above.
Do we have support?
I'll support.
Recommended by Mrs. Hood and supported by Mrs. Roney. Any comments or questions? First of all, thank you for those names were perfection. I think you've been practicing and meeting lots of new people and got those down, so. All right. Go ahead.
We have been through a lot. Our district has been through a lot excuse me, every district has been through a lot over the last 2 or 3 years with the pandemic. And our district has been through more over the last 3 or 4 months. And so I am appreciative. That is a great group of people that was just read off. And we are really, really fortunate to have them in our schools with our kids. So thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Hood. Any other comments or questions? Okay. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. We have 2 more items on the action items. We have 2 bid packages. We are going to have a little presentation, but I am going to call a 5-minute recess if that's okay. So
Make it 6, and then we'll be back at 4:45.
5 minutes, Liz. Okay, well, it looks like we cleared the room. No, I'm just kidding, but, we did. Yes, we kind of did. So thank you for that. It's kind of embarrassing, and it took me 10 days of stress to like figure out how it was all gonna work out. Mr. Cook gave me some advice. What would Paul Cook do? So, I appreciate you letting me take the time to talk to my son. It's great. We are gonna move on to the last two action items. So we have bid package number 7, Aurora Center renovation phase 2, and I'll turn that over to Mr. Giramini, and he's gonna introduce our guests this evening, and then we'll move right into the bid package 10B as well.
Thank you, Doug.
Yeah.
So these got moved to action partly because of supply chain issues, right? Because will be
They
both
did.
information, discussion, and action.
Yeah, that is why they're gonna give some short slides to do
Awesome.
like a little presentation before
Okay.
we even move into any kind of recommendation.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you very much. So for bid package 7B, we're going to have Bill McCarthy and Justin Bott from McCarthy and Smith come up and give us a brief presentation on this particular package.
Good evening, I'm Bill McCarthy with McCarthy and Smith. I just want to take a moment and thank you for the opportunity to present this evening. And I wanted to introduce Justin Bott, who's our senior project manager. He's been working on the project and he's moved on up into the senior project manager role. So Justin's going to kind of present bid package 7B and our recommendations this evening. Thank you.
Thank
Good
you.
evening, guys. All right, first, speaking of bid package number 7B, Aurora Center Renovations Phase 2. Last summer, we took care of the renovations for the Adult Education Center over there. Redid a lot of the finishes, fixed some of the classrooms over at the center. Now we're moving on to the Phase 2 of the project, which is the virtual center. As you can see, I've highlighted on here the outline of the area that will be our construction, or is proposed our construction for remodeling. Some of the overviews of the project is the new media center, reviewing the finishes, doing some cutouts and new windows into the media center, so virtual center, and teachers can actually see the students as they're doing a lot of their testing within that center. We're also doing privatized offices within the suite itself with green screens. This will allow the teachers to perform their classroom services within these private rooms, as well as give them a nice quiet space. Currently, the spaces that they're using over at the center don't have walls that go all the way up. There's a lot of background noises between the rooms. This will allow them a little more private spot to work. Last is the reception desk, the front entrance. This was not taken care of as part of phase 1. It's being taken care of as part of phase 2. Just brought up to some of the standard finishes that they're using in some of the other schools that are under construction throughout the district.
Thank you, Mr. Bott. So regarding the big package, on Thursday, June 23rd, 2022 at 1 p.m., sealed bids were received and publicly opened. In attendance for the bid opening were representatives from the Novi Community School District, Plant Moran Cressa, TMP Architecture Incorporated, McCarthy and Smith Incorporated, and interested bidders. The project team conducted post-bid interviews with each of the following qualified bidders. Based on the team's review and due to long lead times, they are proposing the following recommendations for board action tonight. For general trades and carpentry, to Construction Solutions Incorporated for $691,500. For aluminum entrances, storefront glass and glazing, to Daniels Glass Incorporated for $46,000. For fire suppression, to Professional Sprinkler Incorporated for $15,380. For HVAC, to D'Amboise Mechanical Incorporated for a total of $72,167. This was the second low bidder. The first low bidder did not have addendum number 1 scope included. For electrical, to O'Donnell Electric, a total of $79,460 for a total award recommendation amount of $636,000, $636,403. I'll try it one more time, $636,403. The recommendation is that the Novi Community School District Board of Education award contracts to the companies listed and in the amounts listed for a total award amount of $636,403. Further, that the Assistant Superintendent of Business and Operations be authorized to expend the funds from the 2019 Capital Projects Fund.
Thank you, Mr. Giramini.
Recommendation.
Okay, Mr. Cook?
I recommend that the Novi Community School District Board of Education award the contracts to the companies listed and in the amounts listed for a total award amount of $636,403.00. Further, that the Assistant Superintendent of Business Operations be authorized to expend the funds for the 2019 Capital Projects Fund.
Support.
Recommended by Mr. Cook and supported by Mr. Mena. So we can open up the discussion if anybody has any particular questions. Mrs. Roney?
The bid division, 114 aluminum entrance storefront glass and glazing. Is that glazing kind of the bulletproof that they're gonna put on the glass to harden the entrance?
It is not ballistics glass, no. It's security glass, so it will just have the tempered glazing that they just standard use within the actual suites itself. It's commonly used within the suites. The ballistics glazing that you're usually talking about is just done at the entry vestibules within the individual schools.
Okay, so this is not an entrance then?
No. The glazing that we're talking about is strictly just going down the hall, coming down the side of the media center.
Okay. Is that little office area that they show, like sticking out, that's not?
No, the receptions area is actually closer to the center of the lobby of the Roar Center.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Do we have any additional questions? Mr. Cook?
When we used to get these packages and get this in the board package, we used to see all the bids totaled up. Now we're only seeing the awarding. Can we get back to seeing all the bids in there?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bill.
I apologize if we didn't have that in the packet. Usually, it's electronic bid tabulation. We can get that over to you.
Yeah, it helps us see.
Yeah, no, without a doubt.
The range of bids that we're getting in and.
And we did have a good range. You might want to speak to that.
No, we actually did have a lot of coverage. Number of bids that had came in was 21 total bids in total, ranging, just going down the list here. General trades, we had 6 bids. Aluminum entrances and glazing, we had 2. Fire suppression, we had 4. HVAC, we had 3. And electrical, we had 6 bids as well. So we had pretty good coverage on, and we can supply that for you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Smith?
I don't know if this is a question for you, or if it would be, Willie, for you or for Paul from the Capital Projects Committee, but my question is, how are we doing with what we're spending at the Roar? You know, I think many of us can remember that late night at the middle school when we went into the side room and we talked about whether or not we would move forward with purchasing that building. But I do remember, even though it was late, that one of the advantages of purchasing that building, which was already set up as a school, was that our costs would be limited in using that space as our own. And we're spending a lot of money. We've spent a lot already. Are we like $200,000 over what we thought we'd spend, or how are we doing in relation to what we originally planned on when we bought that space? Because it just seems like we're putting a lot of money.
If I can recall though, also involved in that decision was the fact that there would have been a cost involved with putting addition on the back of the high school.
Well, it would have been much more.
It probably would have been much more.
300 a square foot versus 150. I remember all that. I'm just saying that there had to be.
And that cost went up, I'm assuming linearly, when you compare it to any additional linear costs that we incurred due to inflation on this as well. Now, as far as what the dollar is, I don't have that. I mean, because that
I don't know, Bill,
changes.
if you have anything like that.
We'd have to kind of track the programs too, because some things have evolved within. It's the virtual academies kind of evolved a little bit more.
Right.
So we're just trying to figure that out, but it is very cost-effective space,
Okay.
what we're doing within the space. It definitely, as you pointed out, definitely a lot less expensive as building new right now.
Okay,
So we
we're
can
still
go back and
tracking.
take a look at that.
Yeah, when we did purchase it, there was also a budget for renovations that was
Right.
put together. We just need to get that tracked, and we can we can have that as a topic.
I think it's a fair question, just how do we do it
And,
versus.
yeah, we can have that as a topic in the next capital
Okay.
projects meeting.
Thank you, Mr. Smith, and we'll get that information.
Just one quick question, with the exception of the one that you pointed out that was not the low bid, are the rest of them the low bids?
Yeah, the rest of them were all low
Okay,
bids. Yep.
okay, it's always good information to have too, thank you.
Thank you. Okay. Seeing no other questions, I think we're ready for a vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. We will move on to our second bid package. Mr. Jeremy Neat.
Thank you. We'll also have a presentation here from bid packet number 10B. Hand it over to Mr. Bob.
All right. Yes, bid package 10B, the district-wide exterior card access HS4. Essentially, the district is undergoing new security hardware throughout the district at all the exterior doors at the school. This is going to be a ongoing process, I guess, that's going to move into interior doors within the district of all the individual schools. The need for this system is going to be, has a number of features that are going to benefit the school, namely one of which is exterior door lockdown. You can lock down the exterior doors in a high security risk situation for an individual school for those exterior doors only. Some of the other features that are within the system itself is for data on card feature. Essentially, if somebody loses a card, they can report it lost. They can call that in real time, lose access to that card. The second somebody picks that card up, tries to use it at a school, they're going to be locked out, and all the other schools immediately will lock them out as well off that card access. It's all in real time, all online feature or online capability. So everything can be controlled through the computer from Larry's office across the street here, as well as on-fly master keying without the use of a handheld device. So again, they can reprogram access controls to the individual schools. Anybody that already currently has card access on it, they can update their access into individual schools on the fly. It's a much quicker process. You're not dealing with lost keys. The other items that are on here allows flexibility for temporary users. So assistant coaches, rental groups, et cetera, that need temporary access for extended periods, they can give them a temporary key for card access for whatever time frame they have, at which point at the end of that time frame, it will expire. Return the key back to the district. So again, this is a push that the facilities directors have requested that we put out for pricing. We did get pricing back from LaForce. You will notice that we did only have one bidder that was on there. The HS4 system that is being requested, because of its flexibility, they do have to be certified in this system. So there's only 2 companies in the state of Michigan that are even certified for the system. LaForce being one of them, and LaForce has been doing all of the monitoring and security programming throughout the district already. So they have been requested to do the programming if whoever does come on board. So naturally, LaForce did do did submit a bid to try to win this with this proposal as well. So they did come in as low bidder. They have been working with the district all along, is trying to help them in the process. So.
Thank you. If I can get a motion for the recommendations so we can have a discussion. Mr. Cook?
Yeah, I recommend that the Novi Community School District Board of Education award the contract to Construction Solutions. Got that right? In the amount of $291,722.00. Further, that the Assistant Superintendent of Business and Operations be authorized to expend the funds from the 2019 Capital Projects Fund.
It's LaForce, the other.
All our information says Construction Solutions.
What's that?
All our information says construction solution.
I see LaForce on page.
Construction Solutions is the first bid.
Okay, so it's just a misprint on this report, I think.
Correct.
Okay.
We might as well fix the typo with the dollar amount too then.
So the,
Tenths of a cent.
You'd have to amend your motion, Paul, for
Yeah, I'd have
the
to amend the motion, but I'm looking.
It's on this page.
It's only on the summary page.
correct.
Okay.
You're not a Mac user, are you?
No,
Okay, there you go.
I'm not a Mac user. I know I also have to have it large enough so I can read it. Of course,
That
I'll
doesn't
pass
work.
it. There it is.
So is the amount,
The amount's okay, it's just
amount.
the.
the
It's
amount
just the name.
page, yeah, it's 291,722.
okay.
Okay.
And is the,
So-
I'm sorry, is the person Mr. Andy Nay, or is that somebody else?
Andy Nay,
It
correct.
is Andy Nay, so it's just the name.
It's just the
correct on
company
report.
name that's
Okay.
incorrect in our recommendation.
Okay.
Okay. So I will move to recommend my recommendation from Construction Solutions to LaForce.
Okay, do we have support?
I support.
The recommendation is made by Mr. Cook and supported by Mr. Smith. So we are voting on the amended recommendation. So we're good on that. Anybody have any specific questions about the actual project? Mrs. Hood?
Yeah, I do, thank you. My first question is gonna be, aren't we saying the wrong name? But, okay. So, I had so Justin, I think you said all outside doors, right? So that's not just the main entrance doors.
It's exterior doors that currently have key to access into the building right now,
Oh,
so
that are
they're,
currently key
right.
access, okay.
Correct. They're upgrading the hardware that is already in existence for these card readers.
Okay, so this is a door access monitoring system, and it reminded me of the tragedy in Uvalde, right? Where there was some, pardon me? Yeah, where there was, I think, some misinformation originally that a door had been propped open. So does this system have any type of monitoring that is manageable where if a door is open between certain hours, if a door is open longer than 10 minutes, it's alarmed or something like that? Do we have that kind of control in a system like this?
I would be speaking out of turn if I said that I knew that it had that capability or not. So I would have to look into that and get back to you about it.
May I ask a follow-up just to that same point?
Of course.
Okay, I know we talked, I don't know, a couple meetings ago about installing more cameras or the need to install more cameras. Do we have all of our exterior doors under camera? Because it would make sense to me that those systems would talk to each other. So if we saw that a door was open, you could cut to camera blah, blah, blah and see what was there.
We'd have to ask Anthony. I mean, he's
So
not
that's an
here.
Anthony
That's a
thing.
technology
Yeah.
situation, yeah.
But it seems like they go together. Okay.
The camera and the key access probably are separate.
So I think we're too far down the path here. I'll support this anyway, but I would appreciate a follow-up on that. What are the
absolutely.
capabilities of actually monitoring the current state of the door? Locked, open, whatever it is.
If you don't mind, I think what we'll do is try to do a follow-up with this, because this has been vetted. The district went through a number of vendors to look at, see what system best. It was part of the Meadows project, I believe.
Correct.
Where the big impetus was, we knew we had to do something, and then sat down various vendors, and from that research and consultation, it kind of went into this direction with this HS4. And as a matter of public bidding, we had to go through a public bid process, and that's what we're doing this evening. So the intent and the scope of what's being done is what the district administration has worked out. This is implementing it. We just need to kind of present to you what the capabilities are.
Correct, we appreciate that, Bill, and I know that Plant Moran Cressa has plans moving forward into early fall. I think it's in our September meeting. They're doing a full report to the board on all projects in the district. So definitely there will be opportunity to, we can certainly get information about these specific questions, but that piece of it is coming in the 6 weeks
next
from now.
quarterly,
Yeah. Mhm.
So that brings up another
Yeah.
question. What is the time frame to complete this?
Timeframe, due to, and as you had mentioned earlier, due to long lead time issues that we're dealing with, if we were to release following the meeting, we would be looking at about a 6-month lead time in order to get the actual hardware for the project. So we wouldn't be beginning until March, and we'd be finishing up by the end of July.
Okay, so really a full year. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Mrs. Roney?
So this has the capability, one, it's gonna be a key badge, whatever thing, to let people in. So we're gonna harden all the exterior doors, and that's at every school?
Yes, they're starting at every school, yes.
Okay, and it also gives you the capability if somebody quits and resigns or whatever, you can then turn off their key.
Immediately.
And then, so we're getting rid of like, and when you say key, are you talking about like keys?
Key
or
card.
Key cards,
Doing
okay.
away with the keys in general, and that's the beauty of the system.
Well, and that's what I mean, we're getting rid of any key and we're gonna have a card now
Correct.
where you can monitor who's in the building.
Correct.
And so it's a great security tool. And then eventually you said we're gonna get into interior?
It's further down the line in the project, in the grand scheme of things, but yes, the interiors of the individual schools are gonna be,
So
further
this
down
is
the line.
a program that can actually grow with us?
Correct.
Okay, okay.
And within the bid that we took, we have unit pricing that can be applied for those future endeavors. So because this is the first order of business, was the exterior, and it was pretty well detailed. The scope on the interior is still being figured out.
Okay. That's good to,
Thanks,
good to
Mrs.
have.
Go ahead, I don't care. Mr. Mena?
So many of our doors, exterior doors, have this card system already. Right.
It's a
Similar.
different card system, though.
Right, so,
Correct.
Have a card system.
well, we have a card system, and the whole idea behind the card system is to be able to do what Ms. Roney was asking, to be able to remove and people from the system and add new people on. Collecting physical keys is a whole different ballgame, so I'm just curious to find out, and I'm not asking for a big deep dive, but I'd like to know what some of the value add is on this new system compared to what we currently have now. And also, how many additional doors are we adding this system to that doesn't currently have a card reader on?
Okay. We can look into that for you.
Because I guess what I'm trying to say is, do we have 50% of the doors in our district right now that should have card readers? I'm not quite sure where we're at with that.
Okay. I couldn't speak to you offhand as far as the actual number of doors. That would be a question that I'd have to get with Mike Dragua about and kind of discuss that with him. What we are doing is replacing the hardware that is currently there in place. A lot of it's antiquated. They need an upgrade on it. And this feature is allowing for more security for the district, which is why it's being pushed.
So these are definitely going to replace the ones we currently have now.
Correct,
I'm just trying
yes.
to figure out whether or not
It's actually a completely different system.
we're adding this hardware onto.
It's not, and again, speaking a little bit, it's like a one-for-one replacement.
Okay.
The existing stuff is sunsetting, so there's a need, that's why the exterior doors are first. So there was a push, let's get the exterior taken care of first, then we can look through the growth, and then the interior scope was gonna be further evaluated, what was gonna happen within the interior of the building.
Well, I know this is an information and discussion as well as I'll approve it as well, but I think that's a good point, Willie, is like I just think of Deerfield and there's a entrance into the back hallway behind the gym there that there's not a card reader in there now, but some people have keys and you can get in, get out, and if you pound on the door loud enough, somebody will come and let you in. But the security, to Kathy's point with the Valdes, is only as good as monitoring the entrances in and out of our buildings. So that's why I go back to the camera system. I mean, even Scarface had cameras on all those.
But I guess it would surprise me if there wasn't some ability, with the technology, to know when the door was left open for any lengthy period of time, because it says on there that
Capability of real time.
it has the event to lock them down in the event of an emergency, so it doesn't make sense, like they would know if it was open if they couldn't lock it down. To me, it seems like Like, that's something that would be valuable to know, obviously, but it would, I guess, in my mind, it would really surprise me if they didn't have that ability to know that a door was being errantly left open.
It comes down to monitoring costs as well. Someone has to monitor that.
Plus, we have a security consultant that a lot of these questions, we can, I mean, we've had an opportunity to speak to our security consultant, but now these are new questions that are coming up as a result of some of this, so.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And current events.
Mrs. Twin?
Just one follow-up, actually, it's kind of operationally for this system. So does it still operate when there's a power outage or when there's a network outage?
Actually, they are a battery system, so they would still have power.
Okay, is that batteries, within the building we
It's
maintain?
batteries within the actual individual units.
Okay, oh, all right, thank you.
Mr. Cook?
So, we're not gonna be removing any hard key access that currently exists. We're only using the card key. It's only updating the card key. So hard key, we're still gonna have hard key access into buildings in case of power outage or the battery going out in one of these units, I assume.
My understanding is that this card is supposed to be replacing keys within the district, so that.
The hard keys.
The hard keys within the
So
district, yes.
we'll be replacing the door hardware also, not just the access hardware.
They'll be upgrading the hardware and utilizing hardware that's within it,
Okay,
yes.
and we're still gonna have at least one hard key access into a building for power outage purposes, I assume?
We can get an answer for that, because we're digging into the weeds here, and sorry, guys.
You know.
And I know these are great questions, but there'll be a program that we should be able to share with you as far as what the district security protocol is gonna be.
And there's a lot of these, readers that are gonna have batteries in them, and what's the life on those and what's the maintenance have to be? Because that, to me, seems like a lot of work to replace these batteries constantly. I'm used to replacing batteries on a robot, on a robot controller that, are fed by 480 volt constantly, but you have to replace the battery on an annual basis because, God forbid, power go down and you can't do anything. So once power goes down, how much time do we have before we do need a hard key access? It's, I assume our security consultant went through all this.
Yes, and they did bring that up at one time, and then what it was told to me is that the battery it's not constantly being fed from, it's in a lockdown mode and not drawing any power on it. When it's in a locked mode, it's when it's activated by having a key card in front of it, that's when it has that quick blip of power that's on it, and that's when it actually draws on it. So to speak of the actual life of the battery, I can't really speak on the life of the battery, but it is not something that's constantly drawing from.
So, we appreciate you guys coming, and I know that your job was really to put the bid out there and to get the bids, and there are other people who certainly can answer these questions for us. I asked Mr. Jeremy to make a note, and he will get with our security team and any board members who have additional questions. We'll have the person kind of watch this meeting and answer some of the questions, or if there's any additional questions, we can make sure that they get forwarded through Sheila to our security team, who works with the capital projects team to make sure everybody gets their questions answered, since they're actually the experts in this realm. So,
Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for letting us grill you.
Okay, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Wait, I'm sorry. Did we vote on the amended recommendation?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay, who motioned?
okay,
My recommendation beginning was not
correct.
supported,
amended.
so I amended it,
Okay.
then it was supported.
So do you want to vote on the amended and then vote on, when you vote, you're voting on the amended recommendation?
Yes, I knew that. I just didn't know if I thought my parliamentarian friend, Mr. Cook.
I am not, but okay.
I know, but, so when you made the amended recommendation.
That recommendation had not been supported, so I was just, I was
Right,
amending it.
You made an amended recommendation, but I don't remember the vote being taken on the amended recommendation. I don't have anybody marked as being
Because there
supporting
was
it.
no,
Because there was no support of the original, we only needed one vote, correct? Is that what you're
Yep.
saying? Yes.
Oh, so we only need one vote now?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So
Thanks.
you made the motion.
yes.
And I had supported it.
Thank you.
And it was amended.
Did you get all that, Sheila, already? Okay.
All righty. Well, I think we're done. I think that we need a motion for, we didn't vote.
We have to.
Yes, we just did.
No, we didn't.
What did we vote on?
All in favor?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0.
I move for adjournment.
Smith and supported by Mr. Cook. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thanks, Liz.